back again. You try and
push it. Go. So we're easier. Just push him that little bit. Yeah. Keep turning.
Won't stop too.
You stop there, John. You stop. Before he comes.
It's always been against that, I think, isn't it? The other way. If it's housing,
Fine, thank you very much. How are you doing?
Robinson.
Oh, you're the way I am.
Oh, very good. How are you?
Good. Oh. That's it. Hips parallel to the mat. Head on the mat. Lift your right leg in the air. Bend. Now kick on. God, I've seen it too. You walk out. Awesome. Good. Yeah, I need you to be able to clear, guys.
You know why you're not kicking?
that's the other.
Like Fox and Hound. Yeah, the red striped out in England.
Yeah.
Right, I'm Dave Turton. I'm a ninth Dan in Combat Jiu-Jitsu, head of the All Styles Martial Arts and Self-Defense Federation. I started training in 1960, so I've done 51 years in the martial arts, and in 1963 I was introduced to some amateur wrestling by a chap called Ken Stevenson at Bury Amateur Wrestling Club, and he suggested that the various wrestling holds and takedowns would supplement the jiu-jitsu very, very well. So I started searching out various gyms, guys like Harold Wrigley, Pete Lindop, the Royal Brothers, who you might remember, Bert Faulkner and Vic Faulkner. So I started training at all the various gyms and ended up training with a chap called Billy House, who I believe Billy knows very, very well.
Here, let's come in here.
And taking it from there, really. Just want to pause it for a second. Do you want to go in the office?
Yeah, maybe so.
And having an interest in the history of all combat arts, I decided to search further into, if you like, Britain and England's involvement and growth in the wrestling industry.
Sure.
So I started travelling the country to various libraries and museums, studying what I could, and this led me to the old county, which is now part Cumbria and part Lancashire, which was known as the County Palatine. And there it was known as Catch Hold, and it spread from there. This is just after the Romans left, sort of 320 AD, 330 AD, and it was known as Catch Hold back then. So I started trying to trace down all the various movements. Over the years, and the only mistake I did make, I used to incorporate a lot of the catch wrestling holds and takedowns into my combat jiu-jitsu, but never told people that's where it came from, so people thought it was a different form of jiu-jitsu. And it's only in the last 10 years or so I've been telling people, no, actually this is a wrestling hold, this is a wrestling
Now what was interesting to me is when we were first talking, you were telling me kind of, you know, the etymology, the source of some of these terms, like a hank.
Yes, that's right. Because people were quite illiterate in the sort of 11th, 12th centuries, around when things first started getting written down, they had to use terms which were adaptable and usable from their everyday life. And because the Lancashire area at the time was a big wool industry, terms like hank, creel, chip, and even the grovet. The grovet was a small piece of metal with a bit of bone inside that the weft run through on a weaving machine, and the shape of the hold is similar to the shape of that. Yeah. So I think it was a way of getting everyday people to remember, you know, just what was happening in their
and the hank is actually
The
kind of a
hanks are
twisting.
twist. Yeah. if you've got a couple of pieces of wool together, you keep twisting them and let them go. They kind of become almost like a pigtail. And that's a hank. And wool was sold in 2-pound hanks. That was the weight of wool. And then you had to unwind it and turn it into balls to put onto the machine. A creel was the actual machine that fed the wool onto the weaving machine. So all these terms, probably turned around and said it's a bit like a hank when you wrap your legs around him like so. So these are how the terms came.
Oh, look who we got here.
What's going on
The
here?
man himself.
He's plugging me for bits of
A little bit of history.
Shake hands on tape. Look at that.
Yeah,
Two
good.
good-looking guys.
Both from Lancashire.
That's the old
An honour and a
saying.
privilege, Bill, it really is.
The
I
old-
saw you
the old-
wrestle at
yeah.
Bellevue many times, you know. And
The
do you
saying.
remember John Lees?
Oh yeah, John is a good friend of mine.
Yeah. You know he's died now, don't
No.
he? Yeah, he
Oh,
died
terrible.
last year.
Lancashire lad, born and bred, strong in the arm and weak in the
Yeah,
head.
that's what they say. You know, there's another old saying about Lancashire. There's only 3 kinds of people live in England. Those who were born in Lancashire, those who wish they were born in Lancashire, and those who've had no ambition whatsoever.
Jake. Basically, we've got a Highland summer catches.
Grab his wrist tight, then what was the overhook, I use a cross underneath my own wrist using the bone of my wrist against his forearm, and then I pivot inside, keep everything tight to his chest.
Stop, don't move. We're not going to sit and fall on our back. We want to sit like we want to sit on a toilet. And as soon as we get down, his body starts to move. Drive that hand into his chest, and his body will flip over. Okay.
So
You can't do this slow. Do this fast.
Okay, so I'm right close to his right leg here, so I'm just going to drop my ass to the mat and turn.
That's it. Good. Control. Okay, guys, let's try it. Dude, is I want to use this knuckle, put it just inside his ear, and then drive his head around. My hand is flat, and my body weight is on the head, right? I want to put his tricep in, and I want to turn the bone in. I haven't put pressure on yet. I want to hold my knees in. Okay. That's good.
Okay, so what is your name for everybody?
I'm Danny Mitchell.
Okay, so now the interesting thing is coming back here, you have actually some family history with the Catch as Catch Can, in particular with Billy. Tell him about that.
My great uncle is Albert Rocky Wall. I always knew he was a wrestler, but I didn't know sort of how involved he was. Turns out that when Billy went over to America and vacated his heavyweight title, my uncle rang him and asked him if he could fight for his belt, and he said he'd be honoured. And my uncle actually won that belt, and apparently he wrestled with Billy over 100 times, and it's crazy. It's just that sort of link I didn't realise.
So now that you've done, and you've actually now learned some real Catch as Catch Can,
Yeah.
and you got it in your blood, obviously, right? But so what's your opinion of the catch?
Yeah, it's awesome, do you know what I mean? Going back to those roots and that. I wish I'd have discovered it a long time ago. Maybe my uncle could have taught me.
So Billy, any words of wisdom on your 73rd birthday? You're back in your land of your birth.
It's good to be home, and I'm not 73, I'm only 29.
So what about your thoughts on coming back here and touring about now that we're at the tail end of
It's
it?
great, I mean,
Guys, thanks for everything.
every trip we took, it was like I'm seeing
Do you want
towns
any,
where I've been or wrestled
corn
before,
cream?
you know what I mean? Or there's, you know what I mean?
Got any
Like
cream?
Oh, no,
Then
I don't think so.
Staley Bridge,
No, you're alright.
Manchester, want to see my
Did you go to Staley Bridge?
cousin shops, yeah. Cousin shops and my uncle's shops and my dad's shop, where I grew up, you know what I mean? So it was fun.
Are you surprised that nobody here seems to know the style that was born here, the Catch as Catch Can?
It's amazing. I just couldn't believe it at all, but we'll get it back.
Good.
When our guys that are trainers a little bit start winning all the different tournaments and everybody wants to get in on the gold rush.